Our next horseman is Karen, the not Karen, but Karen, just to clarify that.
And they want to speak to your manager. Hey there, welcome to the Tabletop Travel Guide, the podcast where we explore fictional worlds and civilizations right from the comfort of our own tables. I'm Tyler, and in a session this week, I got to kill a character. It was great. It was kind of planned.
Like your character?
No, I was the DM. And I've been planning this death for a couple weeks. It was to Ghoul Fever, and I'm excited where it's going to go.
Have you never killed someone's character before?
I pull my punches too much as a DM, no.
I've killed people before.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually killed somebody.
Don't cut that.
Very concerned.
I'm Ryan. I watched in horror as my level 19 players this week chloroformed a bunch of level 5 politicians and forced a bunch of legislation through the government.
It worked. Sam was not there to stop us.
That is 100% why it happened. Sam was not there to stop you.
Look, the two people who would have been most useful were not at the session that week, so we just did what we had to do.
Oh my gosh. So I'm Sam, and I started jamming again this week. So that was a fun way to start using those muscles again and try not to make my players super confused and trying not to make it seem like they're smarter than they are. So I'm really just working on it. But combat was successful this week. It went okay, so I'm feeling good.
Nice. Yeah, so last week, apparently I just do not differentiate between devils and demons.
Yes, and the things we mispronounced, it was the things we mixed up talking about the Velstrax.
Constantly. All the time. Devils and demons.
Torture devils, torture demons.
Don't worry, we're going to clarify what all those things are today. So we are just going to take this whole time to fix Ryan's mistake. So devils and demons kind of leads us into where we are going today. We're starting a little mini break in our travels to do a lore guide for the planes, but we're still traveling to the planes, so we're still going places. We're going to do this a little bit differently. As I was writing all of the information, it's so much information.
So much.
Each one of these places could be its own episode, which would be cool for me, but maybe boring for a lot of other people. So we're going to try to keep it high level. However, we are going to take a little bit more time than we planned. So what it's going to end up looking like is 4 episodes, but there'll be 1 episode per week for the next 4 weeks. So we'll still be in the same timeline. We're just not going to try to cram so many things into one listening experience.
Yeah. So enjoy the weekly episodes for the next 4 weeks, and then we will get back to our normal every other week episodes.
Yeah. So, as we venture to the plains, Tyler, Ryan, I have a very important question for you. Have you ever been on a cruise?
Heck, yes.
It's been a while since I was on a cruise, but yes, so a long time ago.
Obviously, you know this because we go on cruises together a lot as we are married, but I am a cruise person. It's my bread and butter.
All right, so Tyler, if you could describe what happens on a cruise in 2 to 3 sentences for people, how would you describe it?
You eat a lot of things, go a lot of places, and you drink a lot of drinks.
All right, well, we're going to be doing some of those things today. So, for our trip to the plains, I will be your cruise director.
Yes.
We are going to hop on our planar travel ship and go see the sights. We'll be starting our cruise in the outer sphere, which previously was categorized with alignment. Since alignment is one of the remaster elements that's being phased out, we're going to discuss the outer sphere in broader morality terms, or at least in the ways that we think are not going to change with what we know from the remaster. So just keep that in mind, that we're working with some information that's a little bit variable at the moment. All of the information we're going to talk about for today is coming from Planar Adventures. So if you want to read more after hearing about this, there is a whole book. I have been in it for the past 7 days.
Yeah.
We might revisit some of these places in the future with more updated information as the remaster comes out, but for now we'll go with what we know.
Perfect.
But first, before we leave port, we're going to do something a little bit different with our characters today. Our characters are going to be traveling with us on this journey. So,
I was given
Tyler...
no context for character creation, so this is probably why.
It's okay. Yes. So Tyler and Ryan, obviously, you are journeying with me on this trip, but your characters are too. So please tell us what characters you have brought today that are going to be boarding this cruise ship.
Okay. So I have brought along with me Isilia Damasio.
Isilia Damasio?
Isilia Damasio. She is a human tax collector oracle.
Okay.
She is 22 and just kind of out of her schooling and thought the world was just going to be a great big place and got a job in the equivalent of like the soul-sucking career of tax collecting.
Cool. So
she's a half-elf, which people, somewhat don't like anyway. She's a tax collector that people don't like. And she's just like, she just wants a win, man. She is she's a cosmos oracle, so she loves the stars. She's all into astrology. She's like, wants to explore the big wide world and beyond, but is just in a rough job. So I imagine this is the perfect getaway for Isilia.
A very sanctioned getaway on a cruise.
Yes.
Okay, and then I brought Mirior Speedstream.
Okay.
That is a taken name, not like a hereditary name.
Yes.
He is a halfling mechanic inventor.
Nice.
And he is currently a professor at the University of Leibstadt over in Ustalav.
Oh.
Nice.
I imagine his whole build is about going fast. So I imagine he had maybe a little bit of a rougher upbringing. He's middle-aged, kind of just working the streets and fixing stuff, and kind of accidentally his way into a university professorial role. And it's just kind of like the not academic professor at a university who continues to tinker with their projects on the side and doing cool stuff.
I like it.
Love it.
What was his name again?
Mirior.
Mirior. Okay. Mirior and Isilia.
So keep those characters in your mind.
Okay.
We are about to set sail, but first, before we do, we have a few safety items that we have to cover. It is important to know that reality does not behave the same way in the planes that it does in the universe that we are familiar with. Gravity can appear different on each plane, and time can move in many variations.
Great.
Planes can appear finite or immeasurable. Some planes even are unbounded, meaning the borders can warp into themselves, like a sphere, or like you reach the end and then you're teleported back to the middle.
Like a Mobius strip.
Ooh.
Yes. Magic can be different too. So it's important to keep your wits about you as we go to different places. And I'm sorry to say that the reason why we are on this cruise is because both of your characters are dead.
Oh no!
No, I had so much to live for.
And we are going to find them their afterlife resting place.
Oh no!
I was not told that level of context.
I was told no context, so this is even twice as devastating.
That checks out though. After she just wanted to go to the cosmos, and she made it.
Mirior was probably working on some kind of special attachment for the suit, and it blew up.
Oh no! Yeah.
So the group of us, we are going to start our journey.
Wait, we're alive, right?
You're still alive.
Okay.
I have not killed you. I don't have that power.
Fair.
So, just your characters. But you are their shepherds to their afterlives. You are their guides. You are going to help them find eternal rest.
Okay.
We'll see where they end up. But we start on the River of Souls, which is the migration of souls from the universe, which is the remastered name for the material plane, to our first stop, Pharasma's Boneyard. So the River of Souls carries mortals. This is kind of how afterlife works. When they die, your soul migrates down the River of Souls, and you start in Pharasma's Boneyard, which is also known as the Spirelands.
Spirelands, okay.
So as we arrive here, this is the neutral plane where souls go to be judged by Pharasma. Throwback, that is our goddess who decides where souls go.
Perfect.
After they depart the universe. She is against the undead. She wants everybody to find that fabulous resting place that they are supposed to be in.
Fair. Yes.
I like it.
The boneyard sits on top of an impossibly tall spire, hence the Spire Lands.
Cool.
And that is where the River of Souls leads into. As we arrive, we are on a cruise, and so for each port of call, we have a drink of the day.
Oh, no.
Yes.
So, like any other cruise ship, everyone has been provided with the drink of the boneyard, which for today is the Grave Digger. It is hard cider, ginger beer, and Crown Royal, and we are actually drinking those right now.
Cheers.
So Sam has actually made us drinks.
She made us
so
drinks.
cheers.
I did.
Cheers.
Here, hold on. We're sitting far away, so we can't actually clink.
There it is.
Yes.
Love it.
So everyone, take a drink as we start exploring.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Yeah. I'm in for the River of Souls now.
I'm suddenly slightly more okay with being dead.
There you go.
Death is not a bad thing. It is part of the cycle of life.
Sure.
Fair.
So in our afterlife conception, mortals come here. Once they are judged by Pharasma, they become an outsider, which is a outer entity creature known as a petitioner, as they move into their chosen afterlife. So we're not going to use the term souls, we're going to use the term petitioner, because you've kind of transitioned, you've already been judged by Pharasma, you know where you're going, essentially.
Okay.
Before we leave, so before we follow any souls to where they might be going, we're going to take a closer look around the boneyard for a minute, because there's a lot of cool things here other than just judging souls and sending them on.
There's like things you can look at while you wait in line to be judged.
Yeah, or you might travel here. So sometimes mortals do come to the planes, and especially the ones with like afterlife components. Souls go there, but they are also places that you can travel.
Yeah.
You might come to the boneyard to petition for someone else's soul. You might come here because you are looking for a deity. You might come here because you're looking for some other answers or knowledge. So there's other ways to get here other than just dying.
Okay.
So yeah, so you might encounter things while you're here. Some of the notable creatures in the boneyard. Psychopomps are going to be these stewards and guides for departed souls. So as they come in, they're going to help guide them to like which afterlife do we need to go to? How do we get to places? They're also going to make sure nobody is trying to like steal souls, or nobody's trying to become an undead and not get judged and move on. So they're like guides, but they're also a little bit of guards and and arbiters in this universe too. The other fun creature, crypt dragons, live here. Crypt dragons emerge from nests of tombstones and skulls within the graveyard of souls. They do have layers on the material plane, or the universe, that is, it is now called. Crypt dragons claim the dead as both their horde and their subjects.
What?
A creature's earthly remains are treated as precious treasure, which is kind of nice. And the creature's soul is considered to be under the dragon's protection.
Oh.
That's okay. That's not as malicious as I thought.
Yeah.
Not as terrifying as it sounds at first. Crypt dragons even go so far as to escort favored souls through the astral plane and represent them in Pharasma's court if they feel like, yeah, this person should go to this place.
Oh, that's
I
actually really
protected
cool.
them.
Okay.
I like this. Bro, crypt dragons.
But also, anyone who perpetuates crime against a corpse or a soul that a crypt dragon has declared sovereignty over will face the dragon's wrath.
Yeah, I mean, that's
fair.
So,
Yeah, that checks out.
If I had to pick like a death lawyer,
yes.
that's not a bad choice.
Right? Yeah. So just fun little things.
Okay.
So we know that Pharasma rules here. This is her domain. She is in charge. However, there are a couple of other deities that you can find here that also make their home here. There is the mantis god Akakek, who's the patron of assassins and divine punishment. Good for him. The other fun, interesting one, maybe not so fun, but definitely interesting, is Grotus, who's the god of the end times. He appears floating above the boneyard as a skull-faced moon that appears to be edging closer.
Is he the moon from Majora's Mask?
I think so. I think that's what he's compared to.
Oh my gosh.
So legend says that on the day he finally collides with the boneyard, all that is dead and living will cease to be.
Great.
Yeah.
So there's some different things where maybe if different souls are offered up, he moves farther back, or certain things will bring him closer and move him away. So there's this whole like tension of like, how close is he today?
Okay.
So those are our major deities that also hang out here with Pharasma. Places of interest. So if you're going to take an excursion here and get off the boat and go look at some stuff, here would be my recommendations. Pharasma's court, obviously. Beautiful structure of white marble and onyx. Souls with conflicting natures are judged here by Pharasma herself.
Oh, so like if you're not sure.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're not like an immediate judgment, like she might confer.
Okay.
Over
So
you.
yeah, like I'm not a paladin. I'm like an indecisive generic mortal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe you did some really good things, but you also did some really bad things. And where are we going to go with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
There's also the Graveyard of Souls, which is an endless graveyard for neutral souls that do not belong to any particular plane.
Okay.
So if you have done nothing of note in any direction,
It's a lot of the
You
John
can just
Smiths of the world.
stay in the graveyard.
You get there, you're like, yeah, this is fine.
Okay, I'm done. There's also the Lake of Mortal Reflections, a hidden lake somewhere in the Boneyard where souls have the chance at reincarnation.
Nice. Okay.
So if you're like, hey, I might want to try something again, you can search for the mysterious lake.
Okay.
There is also a city called Spire's Edge. This city gives souls the chance to better themselves so they can gain a better afterlife.
Nice.
If you were, maybe really trying to get into one of like the more fun places, but aren't quite sure you're going to make it, you can hang out here and try to do some stuff to get a little better.
I was 5 points short.
No, dang it. Just missed the good place.
So then beyond that, the Boneyard contains 8 courts, and each one corresponds to a different plane of the outer sphere, and each court has a portal that souls pass through to get to those different planes.
Okay.
Nice. I like it as a good hub spot.
Let's say I'm not really that down on the Boneyard.
No, makes
Okay.
sense.
It's cool, and it's not like evil. Like I feel like we think did, and we're like, oh no, that's bad. But if we think of it as like, this is the cycle of life,
Yeah.
and this is like where we go. It's not bad at all. It's kind of interesting.
It's got a vibe, yeah.
Yeah, I like
I'm okay
it.
with it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but we are going to leave the Boneyard. That was our first stop. So our next stop, we are going to take a portal, and we are going to go to Abaddon.
Abaddon?
Abaddon.
Abaddon. Abaddon?
Abaddon.
Abaddon.
I'm not sure.
Abaddon.
I have the phonetics, and I'm still not sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I always called it Abaddon, but I think the emphasis is on Abaddon.
Abaddon?
Abaddon? I think
Abaddon.
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 Okay, we'll go with Abaddon.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is an apocalyptic wasteland
Oh.
that is home to daemons.
And that's spelled Daemons.
Yes, daemons are different than demons and devils.
Yep.
This is our first group of... Nope. First group of the Ds. Not great. Okay, anyway. All right. As we arrive here, the drink of the day is the Four Horsemen.
I'm so glad you didn't make this for us.
Yeah, this would have
I
killed
did
us.
not make this for you. For those of you who don't know, that is equal parts Jim Beam, Jameson, Johnny Walker, and Jack Daniels.
I would have died.
I would have also not been a happy camper.
Quick,
but you aren't when you come to this place either.
That's true. Quick note, we do not condone drinking under the age of 21.
Or 18 in countries where that's legal.
That's fair. I
Yes.
guess if you're 18.
Yes.
We're in America where it's 21. If you're somewhere of legal drinking age, feel free to have these drinks.
Yes.
Anyway, what are the daemons that make their home in this apocalyptic wasteland? They are a fiendish race. Their existence is tied in with the existence of the mortals that they prey upon. They're pretty evil.
Cool.
It's unfortunate. Their most large concern is with the destruction of life.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like they're great at parties.
Super fun.
I mean, those might be fun at parties.
know,
not for the owner.
This stuff sounds like the person who'd be like, I'm going to burn this whole house down.
Just like breaking tables and
Yeah.
stuff.
So Abaddon is an interesting plane in that it was originally empty until cataclysms on the universe caused so much death that souls overflowed from the River of Souls and washed up here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so, whoops, overflows of the dead people. So now souls from the Devouring Court, that is the court that's in the Boneyard, come here. It's not a great place, not really where you want to go. It's actually the only portal that does not have like denizens of that plane shepherding people through.
Oh, it's like just an unguarded portal.
Yeah. It's not great. It's the overflow.
Oh no. You just have a sign that says good luck.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah. Yikes. So here, the first daemon that is known is called the Oino daemon. And the Oinodaemon created the horsemen. So the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse reside here, and they were created by this
The literal
individual.
4 horsemen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
He created the drink.
They are actual individuals. Interestingly enough, the 4 horsemen grew to distrust him, overthrew him, and trapped him in the ruined spire, which is also located on this plane.
Sounds like he deserved it.
He was
For making
not
the 4 horsemen drink, yes.
great. He is described as a single soul filled with such hatred, rage, and self-loathing that he coalesced into the first daemon and devoured evil souls to gain power.
Oh.
Literal a sentient ball of anger.
Yes,
Huh.
yes.
Cool.
So the 4 horsemen were like, peace out. So currently,
I'm on the side of the 4 horsemen.
Me too.
the current 4 horsemen that are here, because they are not all the same from back when that happened, only one of them is, reside here. This is their plane of existence, and they each have a citadel. The first one is Apollon. He is the horseman of pestilence. Say that 5 times fast.
Pestilence. Yeah.
I think it's
Plagues and
Apollyon.
disease.
Apollyon.
Apollyon.
Yeah.
Sure. His citadel is known as the Throne of Flies. It is a gigantic monolith that was made from the bones of a huge corpse.
Oh.
Cool.
That's metal. I like it.
Cool.
Our next horseman is Karen. The not Karen, but Karen, just to clarify that.
And they want to speak to your manager.
The Horseman of Death. He is the Lord of the River Styx and ferries souls to the Outer Rift. He is the only original horseman left.
Okay.
So he did overthrow Oinodaemon.
Cool.
The other 3 are replacements. His citadel is known as the Drowning Court. It's artificial islands that have been chained together above a whirlpool in the River Styx.
No, that's metal.
That's cool.
pretty cool.
That's
cool.
pretty
cool.
Guys, it gets cooler.
Okay.
And more terrifying, but it's fine.
Cool.
Our next horseman is Zuriel, the Weeping Angel and the Horseman of War. Her citadel is the Cinder Furnace. It is carved into the heart of a dead volcano and surrounded by obsidian, ash, smoke, and bone.
It's a good aesthetic.
That is cool.
That's a good aesthetic.
Our final horseman is Tralmarixian, and he is the Black Horseman of Famine. And his citadel is the Weeping Tower, which is disgusting. It is a tall, slender tower that looks to be covered in mucus and pustules, with screams coming from inside.
No.
Pass.
Yeah. So you said before that, like, he's the original one. So did the 4 horsemen, like, die?
They get overthrown, or
Okay.
you can fight them and take over. So
Okay, so it's
so
like
3 of them forcefully took over this
okay.
mantle.
So it's a title as much as it is a position. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, other than the 4 horsemen, this is also the divine realm of Urgathoa. She is the goddess of disease, gluttony, and undeath. So, her divine realm is here as well. So, if you are someone who is following Urgathoa, this is where you get to go.
Great.
Yay.
Woo!
I hope I don't end up here. This sounds like not a great place.
Abaddon, no thanks.
Yeah.
This isn't the stop we want to linger on, so
Yes.
we're all going to get back on the boat.
I'm going to stay on the boat for this one and just hang out by the pool.
And on to the next stop.
I like it.
Our next stop is the Outer Rifts, which are previously known as the Abyss.
Yeah, we are. There are new names for things according to the most recent book, Rage of Elements, so we are using the new names.
We're trying.
Yes.
Trying.
And we'll see whatever information changes or not, but the name at least does.
Yes.
All right, our drink of the day here in the Outer Rifts is Les Fleurs du Mal, the Flowers of Evil.
Nice.
Nice.
Which is rose, vodka, absinthe, lemon, and egg white.
I feel like I also would have had a bad time with that one.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the egg white or absinthe. I don't like licorice.
That's fair. That's fair. What is the Outer Rifts? The Outer Rifts are also known as Pandemonium, and it is the realm of demons. A place infused with chaos and evil, whose fissures have swallowed entire worlds.
Cool.
Okay.
Great.
Yes. So now we're going to define what demons are. So we talked about daemons previously. Now what are demons? The first demons were created eons ago by a previous horseman of the apocalypse who was really intrigued by souls. At the height of his experiments, he kind of mushed those mortal petitioners together with a creature called a clip-off and triggered the creation of the first demon.
Oh.
So they are souls that were kind of twisted and mushed together with something else.
This sounds awful.
Yeah.
This sounds worse.
It's possible. If you come here as a mortal petitioner, you are known as the larvae.
Oh.
Is that like are you actually a physical larvae? Or is it just like a freshman?
So typically your soul's presentation is going to look different on each plane depending on what type of petitioner you are. So it's not great here. You're not looking like a hot mortal anymore.
So it's not a good look. Okay.
I feel like we're just starting in the worst ports of call, so then you just get them over with and you go on to the nicer ones.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We are a little bit. Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay.
We're working our way through and up. Other creatures that you might encounter here, there are rift dragons. Rift dragons are typically split into two categories. So there are young dragons who haven't migrated to the material plane yet, or elderly monsters who have completed their goals on such worlds and have returned to rule realms of their own. They really love being worshipped, most often using cruelty and power to achieve it, so they're not necessarily nice dragons.
Oh,
good.
They're no crypt dragons.
They are not. They are not a bro. Our other interesting creature that you'll find here are the Titans. The Titans of the Outer Rifts are universally bitter, cruel, and jealous of the gods. Once they attempted a rebellion and an uprising against the divine, but they were defeated by the gods and cast into the Outer Rifts as punishment.
Great.
Fair.
Cool. Sounds like they deserved it.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? So, rulership here, leadership, the government. The demon lords are over a lot of it, so they're kind of controlling what is happening here. But there are other divinities that also make their home here. So Droskar, who is the dwarven god, toil, slavery, the dark smith.
We talked about him.
We did talk about Droskar. That was our sad dwarven decline.
Yeah, so his realm here is called the Ashen Forge, and it's a collection of mine shafts and forges that are consumed and destroyed by the Outer Rifts as quickly as he and his slaves can craft them.
It's like the worst version of Sisyphus.
It's toil, man.
Ugh.
It's rough. You may also find Girona here, who is the Angry Hag. She rules a twisted forest realm.
Great.
Yay. Next, we can also find Lamashtu, who is the goddess queen of demons and monsters. As makes sense.
Great.
Her sprawling domain is the uppermost realm of the Outer Rifts, so it's also the largest and the easiest for travelers to reach. Not that necessarily you want to go there.
That's the thing, you're like figuring out your excursions on the cruise, and you're like, whatever, let's just take a quick stop at Lamashtu's place and then get the heck back.
I want to say
boat.
that I got off the boat, okay?
Yeah, you get off the boat, take a picture, get back on the boat.
Well, don't decide where you're going yet, because we also have Nocticula, who is the demon lord of assassins and darkness. She has a sprawling metropolis that's in the heart of the Midnight Isles, which is a section of the Outer Rifts. It's the capital city for what was once her realm. Interestingly enough, she is trying to gain a higher level of divinity and get out of the Outer Rifts. Which, fair.
Cool. Yeah.
But her city is, for the most part, the safest port in the Rifts for a traveler, because trade is so important to this city.
Okay, so then let's go there.
That's where we're going.
That'll work, okay.
We'll stop off there.
Buy a couple of tchotchkes.
Yeah.
Head out.
The only other place to note as we are leaving the Outer Rifts, you can look over there and notice the Rift of Repose. When a demon lord perishes, its essence is absorbed by the rifts, which entombs that essence within the walls of the Rift of Repose, a canyon whose sides are tangled and studded with petrified corpses of countless demon lords.
Dang.
That's pretty metal.
That is pretty metal.
That's pretty metal.
Yep, so snap your pictures. We're moving out. On to the next stop. I think so far, Asilia has not found a place to call home yet. She has spent an inordinate amount of time by the cruise pool, getting drinks, and looking out at the other travelers and thinking, I don't like this place. That seems fair.
Yeah, Miriam Polly is slightly more interested in like the more metal aspects of this, but also not looking to stay.
Okay, fair.
Well, everyone temper your expectations, because our next stop is Hell.
Wah, wah.
Great.
The drink of the day that you will find for Hell is the Red-Headed Devil, which is equal parts peach schnapps, Jaeger, and cranberry juice, and it is a shot.
That's fair.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Everything but Jaeger. Well, different liquor maybe.
Yeah.
They're not bad. So Hell. We know it. We love it, do we? No, not really.
No, we don't.
Also known as the Pit. It is the very lawful realm of Asmodeus and all of devil kind. Hell is formed of 9 layers. Each one is ruled by a different archdevil. The souls of evil mortals and victims of the devils all come here and endure unending torment.
Great.
Well, okay.
Great. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Perfect.
Yeah. So then what is a devil? Because now we have found the trifecta
Yes,
here. We've got
yes.
the third one.
The demons, and the devils.
So devils are beings of absolute order and obedience who know nothing of compassion, free will, or mortality.
Great.
So they are going to follow the law, but the law is the law of Asmodeus.
Perfect.
Okay.
The petitioners that come here that are judged are known as the damned. They sometimes hold forms that evoke what they might have looked like in life, but are starved and colorless for the most part. So they're not looking great,
Okay.
but do kind of look humanoid and like they did. We talked about this a little bit when we talked about Night Owl, but Velstrax originally were in Hell, have moved on.
And then they jailbroke.
Yes. You can still find a couple hanging around, but they're not as prolific as they used to be.
Cool.
I still like the Velstrax were too crazy for Hell, and so even Hell was like, you guys need to leave.
You're too weird. You gotta get out.
You bunch of weirdos.
Bye. So, Hell is ruled by Asmodeus. Absolutely. But he has 8 archdevils that each reign over each level of Hell. There are also other divinities down here too. Dahak, the god of evil dragons,
There you go.
is down here.
Nice.
General Susumu, who's the god of archery, horses, personal glory, and war,
Cool.
hangs out here. And so does Minderhall, who's a god of creation, justice, giants, and strength.
Now, those two don't sound horrible.
Yeah.
Again, you got to think about like the law.
Yeah, they
Part
sound
of
like
it-
more on the law than the torture side.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we're going to just go through the layers of Hell just to give you,
Oh, good.
an overview so you can decide where you might want to go visit,
A
what you
slight
might want to
jaunt.
see.
A slight jaunt into the layers.
So layer 1, as we arrive, Avernus is the gateway to Hell. It's ruled by the archdevil of animals, corruption, and gateways.
Cool.
Which makes sense because
Cool.
it's the gateway.
Yep.
The second level is the infernal city of Dis, and it is the largest city in Hell. I am going to assume that it is named after its ruler, who his name is Dispater. He's the archdevil of cities, prisons, and rulership. Interestingly enough, his queen is the demigoddess Ericura, and she is the queen of Dis.
Okay.
She got on Pharasma's bad side. She was like a handmaiden that really wanted to like become divine, and Pharasma was like, nope, and chucked her down to Hell, but she has crawled her way up and
Hey.
really made a comeback story of
Good,
Good
for
for
her.
her. Yeah.
it.
Good job.
Good for her.
So they're hanging out in level 2. Layer 3 is Erebus, ruled by the archdevil of Arvis, watchfulness, and wealth. The lightless vaults here serve as Hell's treasury.
Cool.
So
Oh, okay.
Okay.
all the money and treasure is hanging out here.
All the bankers.
Yep.
Tax collectors. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Only if you're a bad one.
She's fine. She's
Keep that in mind.
okay.
Layer 4 is Phlegathon, I think is how we're going to
I'm
pronounce
so glad
that.
you tried to. Yeah, I'm.
Phlegathon?
Good
Yeah,
work.
that sounds right.
Sure. Its burning reaches contain immense mines and endless toil. They are ruled by the archdevil of adultery, deception, and desire. So,
Okay.
not
Okay.
great. Layer 5 is Stygia. It's flooded and festering, and it's a poisonous realm, ruled by the archdevil of forbidden knowledge, heresy, and snakes.
Pass.
Already my least favorite.
Yeah, do not want to go there.
Covered in snakes. Nope.
Covered in
Nope.
snakes.
Much like Indiana Jones, I do not want to be around the snakes.
Yes.
Layer 6, another fun word that I am probably going to mispronounce, the Malbolg.
Melbolg?
Malbolga?
Sure.
Melboga? Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or Malabolg?
Malabolg?
Yeah. An ash-caked landscape that is ruled by the General of Hell and the Archdevil of Fire, Obedience, and War.
Perfect.
Okay.
Layer 7, we're working our way down here. Cocytus is the layer that is a perpetually frozen landscape. It's ruled by the Archdevil of Arrogance, Flies, and Lies.
Great for skiing.
So this is where hell literally froze over.
Ooh, nice.
There it is.
Okay.
You found it.
Okay.
It happened in Layer
Okay.
7. Layer 8 is Cana. It is called the Bones of Hell. It's the realm of immense spikes and chains amid a dark and dismal gulf. ruled by the Archdevil of Contracts, Devils, and Secrets.
There you go.
That's definitely where the Velstraks were hanging out. Right?
Yeah.
This layer also contains Hawk's Realm, which is called the Adamantine Morass, and it consists of a vast network of caverns and chambers in here.
Great.
So there you go. And then 9, Nessus, is the deepest layer of hell, and it is where Asmodeus, the Prince of Darkness, lives.
The penthouse. Reverse.
Cool. Yep.
It is.
Yeah.
It is the reverse penthouse.
The negative penthouse all the way down.
Yep.
The bunker.
The bunker. Yeah, overall, I think if we're talking about the 3, maybe hell seems the most, the least terrible of the 3 so far.
Yeah, maybe hanging out in Dis. It seems like Dis isn't a horrible place.
Or,
I mean, it's probably bad. But...
I might go to the Outer Rifts, back to the one place, the Trade City. I think that's probably the least bad so far.
Okay.
Right.
No good options.
No good options.
Everybody get back on the boat, and it's going out from here.
Okay.
We have seen the most dismal parts of the outer sphere. We are going to start moving towards some of the more neutral.
Why do they even include
places.
these on the tour? Like, why do they even put the boat? Stop the boat here.
The boats get a ton of kickbacks.
Yeah, Asmodeus is like feeding in for kickbacks, hoping people will stay on the shore.
We are definitely getting paid a lot by hell for this.
Yes, good. That's how it's funded, probably.
Probably by the cruise lines.
Our next stop is Axis. Axis is known as the Eternal City and Utopia, if that helps you conceptualize.
Okay,
And
this
take
sounds
a deep
little
breath.
better.
The drink of the day here is called the Last Word. It's equal parts gin, green chartreuse, maraschino liqueur, and lime juice. Very refreshing.
Okay. I'm not a huge gin fan, but I
love gin. I'm an old man.
With that.
Think of
In the
Axis
50s.
as the old man's land. No.
Wow.
Axis sits at the base of Pharasmus Spire. So the spire that the the Boneyard sits on top of.
Sure, okay.
Axis is at the bottom. It serves as the border between heaven and hell. So it's between those two planes.
Oh, okay.
It's actually composed of many cities, all built up and around each other with a gold wall surrounding all of Axis and keeping it separate from the demolished wasteland outside.
Okay, this sounds okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like it.
Major cities. So as cities and laws were introduced, like by mortals, right? Because they created structure and things like that. Portions of the Maelstrom, which we haven't been to yet, but we'll get there, crystallized and broke away from the sea of possibility, essentially.
Cool.
And these shards fell down into that wasteland around Pharasmus Spire and became Axis. So mortals essentially had say in this plane because of how they constructed their lives.
Sure.
Makes sense.
We all understand how probability collapses.
Yes, of course.
Yes. So the creatures here, the petitioners are known as the Remade. So we want a slightly more positive
Okay.
take here. We have Aeons, which are caretakers of reality and defenders of order and balance.
Oh, okay.
They're not just here, so keep that in mind. We might see them in other places.
Okay.
Some of the other outsiders that live here are Aphorites and Axiomites, the first inhabitants of the perfect city, aka Axis, were the Axiomites, and they're humanoid incarnations of the God mind, which is like the thing that is ruling Axis, which we'll talk a little bit more about. Axiomites are Axis's architects and caretakers, and then Aphorites are the mortal incarnations of the same ideal. So the Remade can potentially become Aphorites.
Okay.
They can transition into that.
Okay.
There's also Inevitables, which is a created race, similar to Constructs. They were created by the Axiomites in an effort to defend the city from attack.
Okay. Yeah.
They're created in the Adamantine Crucible, which is just a very cool name. We can go visit that later if you guys want to see
I'd
it.
go there.
I feel like my character's like this.
You're like the Crucible.
Yeah. So what is the God Mind? So we kind of mentioned that very briefly.
Yes, you breezed over God Mind.
So we're going to talk about what that is. It is not actually a god, and it's not even really an entity. Its capacity to act and react is a manifestation of the actions and reactions of all of the Axiomites. So you can kind of consider it as a little bit of like an Axiomite groupthink.
Like a hive mind kind of?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So it manifests at the threefold pillar, which is a notable site here. And when it manifests, it's a reflection of combined subconscious
Okay.
of all of those people in that race.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit hive-mindy, a little bit like collectivist, like we're all
Okay.
mushing our brains together to rule the area.
Okay.
So that's who's kind of over Axis, but then there are other deities that also reside here, much like all of our other planes. Notably, this is where Aerodin had his realm.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. However, that is now known as the Empty Court. It is empty and has fallen to ruin. They have left it alone. No one has tried to repurpose it or overtake it. It's just empty.
Okay.
Abadar is also here. His divine realm is the largest of Axis's districts, and it's the capital city.
Of course.
Obviously.
Of course.
At the core of that capital city is the first vault. So the first vault has a repository of the best version of every type of creature and object. It's like the ultimate treasury.
It's got my best self down there.
And Abadar controls entry, so you gotta be in really good books if you want to go see in there.
Well, that's where Rovergug's key is kept too, right?
Did they put the key back in the first vault, or did they put the
did.
key? I thought they put the key somewhere where nobody knew what it was. Because didn't Asmodeus say...
Made the key.
No,
Maybe not.
Abadar made the key.
Abadar made the key, gave it to Asmodeus, and then
Tharg
Asmodeus hid it somewhere where nobody else would find it.
Okay. Okay.
So yes,
just
But it is where he got the shadow, or where
that's where
Zon
the first
Catan
shadow.
got the
Yes,
first shadow
that's what I was
from.
did
thinking.
come from the first vault, yeah. So other deities we might find here. Bree, the goddess of clockwork and invention.
Okay, see?
There we go. Her divine realm is known as the Citadel of Resplendent Clockwork. It's 2,000 feet tall, and it's a marble and metal building that's wondrous.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Right? Irori is here as well. His realm is the Serene Circle. It's an open-air plaza with fountains and reflecting pools and gardens. Very chill, very zen.
I like him.
We would expect nothing less. Interestingly enough, Norgerber also calls Axis home, but below the city. The idea here is that in order to have law, you need to have crime to make law.
Sure, you can't have yin without yang, so
Yes.
you have to have,
So his realm is known as Dusk Fathom. It is the catacombs and sewer tunnels creating a subterranean city. It's a black market of sorts.
Oh my gosh, the celestial utopian black market.
Right? Portals in Dusk Fathom connect to Hell, Abaddon, and the Outer Rifts, allowing backdoor, trade with entities or people who just want to, shadily pop into Axis.
There you go.
There you go. You can also find Milani here. We didn't really talk about her. She's a goddess, and her main thing is, warring against oppression. She actually has two realms, one of which is here. It's called the Refuge of the Red Rose. After Aerodin's death, she took control of a portion of his collapsing realm and rebuilt the area into a place from which she could organize uprisings and resistance against inequality in Axis.
Okay.
So she saved a little chunk of it, but the rest has pieced out.
Okay.
Other cool things that we might see here as we're taking our quick tour through the city. So you can go see the threefold pillars of the God Mind. It's one of the tallest structures in Axis. 3 crystalline obelisks that have a constantly changing stream of equations.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
We might have found your characters.
Miriam might be staying. Coming back after the cruise.
Yeah.
We're gonna finish up the cruise.
Yeah.
There's also a fun thing called the Stylight, which is like a planar observatory, but also a repository of lore. Rumors are that some of the knowledge hidden within its interior includes lore and secrets that even the Akashic Record does not have. And sidebar, the Akashic Record is a vast library in the astral plane that records every physical experience that has ever happened.
Oh.
Even the non-torture ones.
Even the non-torture ones. The cool thing about the Stylight is that it floats above the city and moves around in a pattern that nobody can predict.
Huh.
So you just never know where it's going to pop up.
Okay.
And then as we are exiting Axis, you'll see the wasteland. As we talked about, the borderland between Axis and the Maelstrom. It's full of crumbling ruins and nasty things that have creeped out of the Maelstrom. So hands and feet inside the vehicle as we exit.
Hold. I like it.
And now, because we have seen so much in the last couple of days, we are going to take a break and have a day at sea so everybody can just relax, think about what you've seen, and gear yourself up for our next fun port of call, which will be heaven.
Whew.
I like it. Man.
Okay.
That was a lot, but that was good.
That was awesome. I don't know. I'm kind of liking Axis.
Yeah, I don't think Acelia has found her spot yet, as long as it's not the banker place in hell.
Look, we had to start scarier and work our way to less scary.
That's fair.
Sure.
You don't want to
You gotta end on a positive.
Yeah, you don't want
Right.
to end on a downer.
Okay, cool.
Nice. I like it. What will your character be doing on the day at sea?
Ooh, day at sea. I feel like Miriam is probably doing like one of the structured activities on a cruise. Like, oh, it's craft time. Or like, oh, we're gonna go down. Like, we're gonna do have a reading session. Like,
Nice. Yeah, I feel like Acelia would be hitting all the bars and then going to the shows and really just like making sure she had some of the staff on retainer for like drinks.
Yes, we are going to have a great showing of some elemental ballets.
Ooh, okay.
okay,
That'd
maybe
be pretty cool.
Yeah.
The air acrobats are quite excellent.
Any good comedians?
Well,
They're always hit or miss.
There's a few that think they're funny, but jury's still out.
That's about par
Okay.
for the course for a cruise ship comedian. Okay, well, thank you, Sam. This has been a great first 5 days of the cruise. 6 days? Anyway,
Yeah.
This has been the first part of Ports of Calls, so we appreciate the story. And yeah, we will be back next week for step 2 as we go to the less scary realms.
Second half of the cruise.
Second half of the
Yes.
cruise.
Or maybe the second quarter.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
second quarter of the
You didn't
cruise.
know, but you signed up for a very long excursion.
So we're about to go to the second half of the outer sphere.
Yes, second half of
Okay,
the
there
outer
we go.
sphere.
There we
Yeah.
go. Cool. Well, thanks again to all our listeners. Remember, you can reach out to us on Instagram at Tabletop Travel Guide. You can also hit us up an email, tabletoptravelguidepodcast@gmail.com. Remember, we're putting pictures and whatnot on our website, tabletoptravelguide.com. And yeah, if you're digging our podcast, make sure to tell your friends, leave us a review, leave us a comment. We always like to hear from you. So yeah, until next week, safe travels, everybody.